Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kristen or K.Hong Hobbies. I am a hobby enthusiast. Right now I am journaling in my Hobonichi Cousin. I've been crocheting this summer, painting a little bit, kind of just doing a little bit of everything. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure that you subscribe to my channel, like this video, and follow along with me as I discover all these hobbies. In this video, we'll be doing a March flip through in my Hobonichi Cousin. Very excited. A lot of things happened in March. I feel like I say that every month, but I was really getting into the swing of things. It was spring in Philly, so a lot of fun things were happening. We were finally mostly out of the cold, and that, if you watched my February flip through, was terrible for me. Being from Florida, I am still getting adjusted to the cold up here 6 years later. So March was nice because it was a little cold still. Like, I think there were definitely some cold fronts, but there were more peaks of sun and warmth, and yeah, just not being miserable anymore. So very excited for that. You'll probably see a lot of that in this journal. So let's get started. All right, so here is the front, just a reminder of all my stickers. Spending tracker in March was getting back a little bit better. So my spending tracker key, red means unnecessary spending, yellow means necessary spending, and green means no spending. So we have a decent amount of both, definitely better than February, but still working on no spending. March in this was also a wash, just one birthday and a baby due date, and that's about it. So still coming up with an idea of what I want to do for these 6 months, because I know for sure I don't want to keep track of any like birthdays or anything like that. So trying to come up with something here. Then March was definitely a color palette outside of my comfort zone. I gave my spouse, Chris, permission to pick 3 colors, and he picked these 3. I told him just he had to pick green, and so he picked the other 2 with it. And I would never have picked this color combo, but I love the way it looks just because it is definitely unique. So just a reminder, these are like the highlights of the day. Each day I have one thing that happened. So we had bingo one day. I was on Amy's Paper People podcast, and it went live on the 14th of March, which is crazy that it's been out for that long, because I would have told you it was like last month. So that's cool. And I actually gained a lot of new followers. So hi, if that's one of you, from that. So that's really cool. She gave me Posca pins as a thank you for being on the podcast. And spoiler alert, I use the Posca pins all the time now. Like, that's one of my favorite things I use in my journal. So shout out Amy. Then you'll see later, but we have, now it's been an annual March Madness party at someone's house. This year it was at our house. So that was really fun, because basically my husband and his friends get a keg, and they just drink from basically Friday until, actually kind of Thursday until Sunday. And the goal is to finish the keg, and I'm pretty sure they did this year. So yeah, it was a great week. It was a great month. Like I mentioned, it is not quite as cold anymore. So I have stunning weather here, and apparently it says outside required. I'm guessing it was a beautiful day that day as well. In March, I read 5 books. So starting from Meet the Benedettos all the way to Sunrise on the Reaping, these were the 5 books I read in March. My favorite was hands down Sunrise on the Reaping, probably one of my favorite of the year. Suzanne Collins does not miss. And again, I can't believe that this was in March that I read that book. I feel like it was just last month. It's like still so fresh in my memory. So if you haven't read it yet, definitely read it. But yeah, I read a couple other books that I really enjoyed. I cried 5 times in March. One time was therapy, and then, you know, being married sometimes has some misunderstandings, so there was that. And then wept during Hunger Games. So very diverse reasons to cry, always, but and you can see it specifically in March. So usually I have a picture of the month, but I have not gotten around to printing it out and putting it in, so we'll just get right into the dailies. Here is my cover page that I always make. This month was really fun because I was playing around with like offsetting with the marker and coloring more with my Tombows. So I really loved how this came out. March 1st was the first Paper People episode, so that was really great. And I Zoomed with Kimberly, shout out Kimberly, to watch the episode, and it was just really great. It was with Amy and Natasha, two of my favorite people on the internet, / we're like basically friends in real life now, so that's really cool. So we watched that, and then in the afternoon / night, I went to bingo. This is our 3rd year doing this bingo. It's a fundraiser for an animal rescue that one of our really good friends volunteers at, and it's a huge event. There's like hundreds of people there. You get to have bingo, and then there's a ton of raffles. The running joke is that literally my friends and I, not even friends, anyone at our table has never won. And one year, someone at our table won a gift card, but the gift card was to like a wild bird sanctuary that she was like never going to go to. So it was just hilarious. But to this day, 3 years later, we have not won. We didn't win a bingo. Last year, we actually did have one of our friends win a like dog raffle. Like she got dog toys and treats and stuff. But this year she wasn't here. So I think that's the reason. But this year we didn't win bingo, which I don't know how people win bingo because I have never seen it to this day, like someone I know. But we also didn't win a raffle, which is a bummer, but that's okay. It's still, I'm chasing that high of like someone at our table winning. It's like a very inclusive thing now. Like we are determined to get someone at our table, even if it's not us or one of our friends. Like we don't care. We just want people to win. So obviously had to put that. Also, the friend who volunteers was very pregnant and her due date was literally March 1st. She didn't have the baby, luckily, but yeah, so I said congrats to Jackie for not having the baby at the event. But $26,000 was raised, which is crazy and awesome. Like this is one of their big events to help with the costs throughout the year. So always happy to help out. This was my raffle ticket, and one of the bingos, this was a blackout, I think, or it was either that or a square. So it was either really close or like not close at all. I think it was a square because I was like 3 off. And it's just like, it looks so good to technically have bingo, but that didn't mean I won. On here I said, will next year be our year? Only time will tell. The next day was just a lot of food prep. Chris was in the mood to cook and I was in charge of our meal prep for the week. So Chris cooked us burnt ends and made banh mi's, which are so good. I'm guessing, oh yeah, I'm dumb. So it says Chris made us banh mi's out of chuck roast and it was so good. So he took the burnt ends, put them as the meat in the banh mi's, and then he had made other like the pickled veggies and everything like that. Oh my gosh, it was so good. Chris has been really, Chris, who is my spouse, has been trying to cook a lot more now that we're in a kitchen in our house that's like a great kitchen and not like a teeny tiny 1-bedroom apartment kitchen. And it's just been really fun because I just get to sit there and watch him cook and then eat the delicious things he makes. So I'm having a blast too. I made banana bread. We had bananas that were very brown, so obviously had to make banana bread. Don't want them to go to waste. I also made cheeseburger soup for the week, which was really tasty. It's basically just ground beef, a ton of cheese, and like a couple other things. Potatoes, really good, nice and hearty too. Anyway, and then Chris made steak for dinner, and I made the broccoli, and then we just got like instant mashed potatoes from ShopRite. For our dinner because we were just craving steak and it was so good. Man, what a good day of eating. I forgot about this day. See, this is why you journal, because I would have forgotten about this day. But now looking back, I get to see all the deliciousness. And then what I did was I think February and March was when I really started my collage phase. So I just went through all the magazines I had and cut out fun like food and just pasted it as the background, because otherwise it would have just been white or I would have had to doodle, and I just really like how this came out. So what I saw on Instagram was this kind of like a weekly report, but different. I wish I had put who actually made this. I'll try and find it again, but shout out to whoever did this first. I did not come up with this, but it's to do, to see, to eat, and to enjoy. And so in March, to do was to sit on our porch. We still haven't done that, mostly because our porch has turned into like a storage area. It's a screened in patio, so it has to be like the perfect weather. And then because it's turned into a storage area, there's not really much space for you to like relax in. So we actually ended up just like going right outside of our patio in our house and just sitting on the sidewalk in our backyard. And that's been great. It was really fun. So I'll count it as a success. To see is the baby that my friend had. I just blanked out their last name, but we'll call him Baby H because his first name starts with an H. But he was born, I believe, a week later. So we just wanted to make sure that we saw him at some point in March if we could. He is so freaking cute. And I've seen him a lot since March, so that's really nice. But yeah, for now, this was just to meet him. To eat was whatever Chris smokes in the smoker. We got a smoker from one of our friends' dads for a housewarming gift, which is awesome. And Chris is really excited, but he has no idea how to use it. And so we just have to wait until his friend's dad comes over to like tell us how to use it. But once that happens, everything's going to be smoked. So I don't know when that's going to happen because now it's too hot to be outside, honestly. But in March, we got the smoker, so I'm excited to see where that goes. And then to enjoy was the March Madness kegger. So again, that was near the end. When March Madness happens, everyone came over. So I knew that was something to look forward to. And then I was just getting more into practicing my doodles, as always. And so I just was doodling different kinds of flowers, different colors, all of that. And I really like how it turns out. This was inspired by someone else as well. This time I actually put the inspo at Lynn Giunta. Sorry if I said that wrong. But I loved this. I saw it on Instagram and knew it had to go in my journal. It says, unlimited refills. The prescription is make some art and you'll feel better in the morning. And I totally agree with this. I knew that I was going to be in my journal a lot and that always makes me happy. So I wanted to remember that and to remember like if I'm not feeling great or it is still cold or something, just getting in my journal and creating something was going to make me feel better. And then this was blank, like it was just white. And so I knew that I wanted something, I don't know, backgroundy. And if I had thought about it, I might have done this in vellum and actually made this a different kind of background, but I put this down first. So, some squares, make it a checkered print, using the same color that was on the drawing, and I like how it turns out. You can kind of see the bleed through on the other page and opposite. I'll show you the other one next. That is, as anyone knows who has a Hobonichi, or if you've heard about it, in this specific year's cousin, it has a massive bleed through, but I think that's part of the reason why I did this checkered print, so that it would hide it, and it worked. This next day, see, oh my gosh, I love journaling because I did totally forget about this. And maybe if I went back on my Instagram, I would remember because I totally put this as a story. But, okay, so Wednesdays I work remote. And so I was home by myself. I thought someone broke into our house and I was texting Chris and I was like, Chris, what do I do? And he was like, handle it. And so I was like, okay. So we have a bat and I went downstairs with the bat. And I was like going all around our basement, which our basement is fully finished, but I don't know, there's still just something nerve-wracking. It's a pretty big basement. So I was like, this person could be hiding anywhere. And so I'm like swinging the bat around. I'm like swinging it behind the couch. I'm swinging it in the bathroom. Like it's a tiny bathroom also, but, in like these closets, and obviously there was no one there. It was just the wind because it was rainy and windy. I knew that, logically, but I needed to go see for myself. So I gave myself an award. It says number 1, I was scared, but did it anyway. First place for doing it scared. And then I had a library haul, and I just loved the color combos together, and I just really liked that I had these 3 books. Like I was looking forward to these 3 books, to reading them. I only read these 2. I want to get to this one, but it's kind of chunky, so I'm waiting to read it. But yeah, I just wanted to draw out my library haul. I do that a decent amount just to see. The next day was a bunch of errands. So this was spring break week. And so I had this day off, just because they give us a couple of days off for spring break. And so I did a bunch of errands. I'm driving. All right. So first I'm going to my doctor's appointment. That's standard, pretty normal, nothing crazy. Then we got our deposit back from our apartment because we moved out and they like finally sent it to us. So I went and got that. Then I went to Joann's for fun. And then I went to Goodwill. Well, as I guess in here I also didn't put, I went to Dunkin'. I went to Dunkin' Donuts to get myself a nice coffee. If I'm doing errands, chances are I'm getting a nice coffee. Well, I'm like driving, whatever. It's in my cup holder. That's not really a cup holder because my car doesn't really have a cup holder. And all of a sudden it spills everywhere. And I mean everywhere. It is on me. It's on my floor, like by my steering wheel. It's just everywhere. And something about me is I am a big believer in a third secret option, maybe not so secret, but the third option for fight flight, there's also freeze. And so I've tried to get better at that lately. But yeah, so you fight, flight, or freeze. Well, I froze and I was like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Yelling profanities as I'm still fully driving my car. So I'm like freaking out. I also hate being sticky. So that's that. So I see a Wawa, which is a gas station if you don't have it, and I pull into the Wawa and I try to grab like a bunch of napkins. So I go in, grab a bunch of napkins. It helps some, obviously, it soaks some of it up, but now at this point it is just seeped into my seat and my, the carpet of, the rug of my driver's side. So, I mean, it smells good because it's coffee, but I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I like look it up. I go to Acme, which is a grocery store. I rent a shop vac, and honestly, shop vacs are awesome. But yeah, I cleaned all of my car when I got home. What was supposed to be this like glorious day off, like still was, but it just added a little bit of stress because I just had to deal with this and a little bit more money because you have to rent it. You know, it was like, I don't know, $30 or whatever that I wasn't accounting for. But yeah, I cleaned my car, which kind of needed it anyway. Used a shop vac for a first time, returned it, and all's well that ends well. But had to show my day. And when I first drew this, I didn't have these going along, and I went to Instagram. So shout out if this was one of y'all that helped me. But someone suggested that I make these little lines like I showed what my day was like driving or whatever. And I love the way it turns out because I liked the circles and everything, but I just felt like something was missing. So this was the missing piece. The next day, I took the day off again because it was spring break. It was the last day of spring break. There were still some things I needed to get done because I guess I didn't finish them the day before with that fiasco. So I treated myself to a dirty soda from Sonic, which if you don't know is whatever soda of your choosing, sweet cream, coconut, and lime. And oh, it's so good every time. I know it sounds weird, but I usually get it with like a Diet Dr. Pepper or a Diet Coke or something, and it is just so good. And honestly, I might have to thinking about it now, I might have to get one. But yeah, so I drew this in vellum, which I love vellum. That's something about me. You'll see it a lot. I just love that. So this, you can see the bleed through pretty bad, and I feel like vellum helps a little bit because it comes off the page some. So I just made the giant Sonic drink out of that, pasted it in, and then took the colors of Sonic and made them this. And I actually really like how this turns out. The next night was my cousin-in-law Wendy's birthday. Happy birthday, Wendy. Fun fact, this was also daylight savings time weekend, so not the best time to go out clubbing when you're gonna be out late because you lose an hour, but it's fine. I knew it would be how it was. So we went to Bar X for dinner, really good Mexican food in Philly. It was my first time, but it was good. And then we went to Frankie Bradley's because one of our friends goes there all the time, and she was like, you have to come, it's gonna be so fun. And it was. They played really good music. There was like different areas you could go to, which was really fun. So many different people. I mean, that's just what I love about Philly in general, how diverse everyone is. And like, we went to one bar and it was just so diverse, so I loved it. And so we had a couple of pictures, and I just loved how this one turned out because it's like blurry, but you can tell we're just having so much fun, and we were. And here's us eating. This is our little group pic. But those were really the only two pictures I took that night, just because, you know, we were having fun and whatnot. So what I did was I went to Pinterest, and I think I looked up, you know, birthday, disco birthday. I honestly don't remember, but I just found this cute little print. So I printed that off and wrote happy HBD Wendy. And then also just looked up a disco ball clip art and found the cutest one. And then used some of my stickers to add to it. Oh, sorry, Bar X is not the taco place. Tomalex is. Bar X, oh my gosh, I don't remember. I think Bar X was the place we ended, which was just like a small kind of dive bar, but they played such good music. It was very millennial coded, so it was a lot of fun. And then I said up until 3:30 a.m. because of daylight savings, rip. The next day I had to showcase that I was just so hungover. I was down bad, but the annoying part was I literally had half a margarita and 2 shots, but I was getting over a cold or something, and I was on new antibiotics, and everyone tells you not to drink on antibiotics, but what am I gonna do? It's my friend's birthday. So my body did not handle that well. And so, yeah, the next day I was just in bed all day, which, hey, it's a Sunday, so it was nice. I also, again, only had like 5 hours of sleep, 4 hours of sleep. My body doesn't love that. Like, it's very used to 7 or 8 hours of sleep. So I said, send help and Gatorade and Liquid IV. I think I say Gatorade just because, you know, it's easier to say, but I literally live off of Liquid IV. So that is probably what I drank so much of that day. Another day, first that Instagram helped me with, I just didn't know what to put here. And so someone suggested kind of taking this like sharp edge and just making it its own thing. And I love how that turned out. But yeah, I was remote on this Monday, and my calendar was just being really janky, and shout out Microsoft Office. I miss Google, but yeah, I thought I only had one appointment. I was like, oh, this is great, like coming off of spring break, like there's not a lot going on. No, my calendar had just like logged me out or something and didn't update. So when I thought I only had one appointment, I actually had 7. Luckily I got it fixed really fast, but like I would have, as the youth say, crashed out if it didn't get fixed. So it was just a really frustrating day because what I thought was gonna be really relaxing, I then had to just adjust and be like, oh shoot, no, I have like back-to-back appointments all day long. Like, it's insanely busy, but always your girl got it done. And the appointment's really great. Like, I just love working with my students. So at least that was good. And then I just used some stickers. This one says keep moving. And that's just a nice little reminder. If you've seen Paper People, or if you follow Amy on Instagram, she posts these like little hints where she uses the emojis to guess who the Paper People guest is gonna be. And I said to be known is to be loved, because the emojis she picked for me are just like chef's kiss. If you can't see, maybe I'll bring it a little bit closer. So eagle for the birds, of course, Philly. This building for working at a university. I read a lot, so that emoji. I just bought a house. I'm from Florida and I went to Florida State. So red and yellow hearts. And yeah, these were just perfect. And then on the actual post, she was playing Bad Bunny, which again is very me coded. The next day, I think me and Chris were remote actually. And it was a really pretty day, and I was inside a lot because I think it was also still cold. So it was really sunny, but I think the high was still like, I don't know, 65 or something like that. So it was still cold, but because it was sunny, Chris was like, no, you literally have to go outside. Like, go touch grass. It'll be good for you. So I listened and I went outside, and unfortunately he was right. It was a really nice day. I literally just stood in the grass in our backyard for a couple of minutes, really soaked in all the smells and the sights of and the sounds of everything, and it was really nice. And he made me ramen for lunch, so put that in here as well. I used this, I was playing around a little bit more with what I wanted to use in my journal and see how it goes. So I watercolored this background. I took my watercolor paints and just mixed the greens and put it all around here, and then used my markers for my legs. And I really like how this turned out. And listen, little ASMR. Ugh, I love that sound. So use watercolor if you want that sound. Wow, I'm just talking about Amy a lot this episode. So sorry. But she had posted this new hand solitaire game, or at least new to her and new to me, where it's a one-player card game, which I love. I'm not an only child, but my sister is 6 years older than me, so I was basically an only child all of high school, and this would have been clutch for me. And even now, I just like need something to do with my hands if I'm out and about or trying not to be on my phone as much. So I loved that the hand solitaire, like this came in clutch for that, to not be on my phone as much. So I recorded my best scores of the month. If it was over 10, I like, the object of the game is to have no cards. So if it was over 10, I like didn't even record it. The lowest I got was once on the 23rd, I got 2 left. And that high is like what I'm still chasing. But yeah, I haven't been able to do it since. So I Googled cards in hand clip art, I think, and that's how I found this, or like cards fanned clip art. Printed that out and then drew a hand to show like me holding the cards. And then because it was plain, I just did a bunch of the suits all around, and I love how this came out. And then this is actually Natasha's font. I helped name it. It's Fontasha. And so I got it a little bit ahead of time. So I took it on Canva, made it into this hand solitaire, changed it to the colors I wanted, and then printed it out. And I love the way that this page turned out. So as you can see, the next day is when my Paper People podcast episode went live on Amy's YouTube. And I just took a bunch of the comments, whether it was like just people tagging us in it or what Amy said about us. It was just really nice. I'm a big words of affirmation person. So seeing everyone love my episode a lot, like I had a blast. We were just chatting. And so the fact that like other people got stuff out of it was really cool. So I printed it out and had to put it down. And then, like I mentioned, she got me Poscas, and I had to use it. So this was the first time using the Posca pens, and I was obsessed. This Saturday, we had a girls' night, just me and some of my friends. We really enjoy those like mystery games, like the unsolved mystery packs that you can get on Amazon or whatever. So we've been doing those pretty regularly when we're having girls' nights. This night we had, I think, 4 of us, and it was really fun, but really hard to solve the mystery. But we were just like in my basement eating homemade pizza from Trader Joe's, and solving this mystery, and it was just great. The main thing I said I was really excited for was just the fact that like I love having a place to host. Since we bought our house, we are the house that a lot of people come over to, and that's been my dream. I didn't think that was ever going to happen. I don't have a good budget mind, and so I was like, it's fine, I'm just gonna rent small places forever. But Chris really wanted to have a house, and this house ended up perfectly in our laps. And it just makes me really, really happy that we can have a place that people can come over. There's plenty of space. There's plenty of areas to go to, I guess, but like, it's just really cool. So I said, yay, homeowning. Oh, not even Trader Joe's. Acme pizza dough. Wow, shout out Acme. Again, would have forgotten that. The pizza dough, I'm pretty sure, is literally like $2.99, and it makes like 2 per dough. And then you just buy whatever toppings you want. Oh, it was so good. Nothing really happened this day. It was just a super chill Sunday. We did a little bit of meal prep, I'm sure, watched some TV, but nothing super noteworthy, I guess. And so what I really wanted to do was practice with my Posca pens, just to see all the colors and to see how thick they are and whatnot, just to get a feel for it. So I just did a bunch of random like doodles with each color, and I love it. I love how this page turned out. And yeah, it's just really nice and really pretty. I love these colors. Like this was perfect. And I, again, use these all the time. Okay, so ready? Posca pens ASMR. Yeah, very nice. This was inspired by Bailey at Well Read PhD. She has a lot of lists that are just really great all the time. If you subscribe to her Substack, you get to see her travel journal and just kind of a little bit sneak peek of her journal in general, where she shows a bunch of her lists, just a little PSA. Yeah, so this one was a lucky to see. This was St. Patrick's Day, and I didn't want to just put like Happy St. Patrick's Day, so I really liked the idea of kind of challenging myself to be excited about things, and just put a bunch of different things that I was just really happy that I was seeing. People celebrating things, acorns on the ground, candy salad, seeing college student interactions, finishing a book on the train, a hot shower, catching up on Abbott Elementary. Like something as simple as that was just really, really great. I loved it. So very lucky to see it. On the 18th, I was asked to be part of the quote unquote expert panel at work. Crazy to think that I'm kind of an expert or people see me as an expert, but it was for advising. It was for the new advisor subcommittee. And so that was really cool. It was on Zoom, so it was really chill, laid back. And so they just asked us a bunch of questions. There was like me and I think 4 other advisors that had been there for a decent amount of time. And so they asked what's advice you would give yourself if you were a new advisor, and what is advice you received that looking back now is wrong or not something you agree with. I could easily come up with something for the first one. I have advice for myself, but I didn't really have any advice that looking back now I don't agree with, but maybe it's just something I couldn't think of. So it was still a good question. I knew I wanted to come back to it and see if I could come up with an answer, even if I didn't have one in the moment. But, you know, here we are 3 months later and I still don't have an answer for it. So we'll just leave it be. I had this grand idea to make a book club at work, and I'm hoping it still happens. I dropped the ball this summer, but I asked Instagram for ideas for like a workbook club, because I had sent out like a Microsoft form asking people their opinions, and a lot of people had said like not romances, and like it kind of could get weird with coworkers. So I really wanted it to be like probably just fiction. And so what I did was I put them in as like they were books here. So Crying in H Mart, mostly because it's Philly local, so that's really cool. And then there's just a couple other ones that I thought could be really good for the group. I found this paper on Pinterest, I'm pretty sure, just Googled like prints or something like that. Made big versions, cut them out, and then turned them into the book covers. And then it was just kind of plain. So I played around with some different framing. I really like this neon green, like squiggle, and probably this teal one because I like the crosshatch. Dots are fine, but that's what I like about journaling, because I'm like learning what I do and don't like and what my style is. Then March 20th, you know it, March Madness begins. No, well, I mean technically March Madness started on Thursday with like the play-in games, but more importantly, we got the keg acquired. Chris went and picked it up. We made sure we had ice, all of that. And so he set it up. This is a picture of me getting beer out of the keg, and I obviously had to document it and put it in the keg. This is actually drawn straight onto the page, and I really like how this turned out. One thing I do is probably 9 times out of 10, I Google whatever I'm looking for clip art, and then I turn it into my own style. So here I did keg clip art and saw one I liked, saw one that looked pretty similar to the one we had, and then I just drew the beer itself. I might have even Googled beer spilling clip art and to get this, and I just love it. Friday we had, we call it the OG gang. It was 3 of our friends that came over and watched the game. We picked up Chipotle for all of us, and I hadn't had Chipotle in a while, and it's just so good every time, like it hits. So I took my bag. They have really great bags for journaling, for using it as background paper. If you ever want it, just order Chipotle and the whole bag is like really good. And then I had made a bracket, and I had Michigan State to win it all. I don't know how far they make it, but for sure did not win. I don't think any of my final four made it. Maybe one of them made it to the final. But yeah, not good. Mostly the reason why I didn't do well though is because I refused to cheer for the University of Florida, and they won it all. So I knew that I was never gonna win that way. Yeah, but I made a Canva invitation to send to everyone in our group chat. And so I put plans hang, March Madness. Our group chat's called Plans. How boring. But I said, join us Saturday, starting at noon to whenever. Our neighbor also came over, which is great. He's like this 50-something-year-old white man, wears a tie-dye shirt all the time, so chill. He's great. Him and Chris have a really great friendship, and I just love that we have neighbors we like. Everyone brought food over, and I said my faves of the day were pasta salad, Muddy Buddies, and surprisingly, pizza. I like pizza, but I'm never in the mood for it, so I was surprised that I liked it as much. We found this place recently near us that has a really, really good white pizza, and so I think that was the one that I kept going back to. And then we got a surprise visit from our friends who just had the baby. What's insane is that this was day 10 of this baby being alive, and he was there. Which probably wouldn't do, but I mean, I was really happy because I got to hold a baby and meet our friend's child, who is going to be our new bestie. Then I looked up on Pinterest some basketball print ideas, printed this out, and turned it into my background. This Sunday, I had to go to work because it was a prospective student day. I think at this point, the students had gotten accepted, but they were deciding if they wanted to come to my university specifically. And so I presented. This was my first time in my new department. I used to be an undeclared advisor, and now I'm a film advisor. So I was specifically for the film and media arts department, and was answering questions off the cuff. The chair of the department was like, oh, Kristen, you won't have to answer a bunch of questions. You'll kind of just be there for moral support, and then later if they have one-on-one questions. But then in the middle of the presentation was like, oh, Kristen can answer that. And years ago, I would have been like, I don't know, I'm so nervous. But now I was like, boom, I can absolutely answer this question. And so I just said it's crazy what over 6 years at a school or job can do for your confidence. Usually I don't like talking to parents, so sorry. But I just love the college age students. But now I feel like I'm definitely at a place where I just know what I'm talking about. So talking to parents is actually okay. Still get nervous, but in a way that I just want to make sure that everyone's happy. Not I don't know what I'm doing. And then I just took some washi tape that had the similar coloring and put it in here. And I really like how that turned out. Then this is one of my favorite pages, not because of what it was, but the creativity that it allowed me to do. I do this thing where I risk running out of gas. I've never gotten it this low. To this day, this is the lowest I've gotten it. But I was 5 miles to empty, which is insane. I hear you. I know. It's insane. I would have gotten stuck. I probably would have had to walk to get gas. But I said my car, but also me at work, LOL, because it was getting insanely busy at work. Everyone was registering for classes, and yeah, it was just a fun time. But what I did here, and why I love it so much, is I made my own gas meter that moves. I know that might not be anything crazy, but I'm just, oh my gosh, I love it. So I took black construction paper, used my silver Posca pen to make the actual gas meter thing, and then cut a little hole back here. You can kind of see it here. And then just a little red guy tucked it in, and it moves. So very proud of how this came out. And then if you haven't noticed, I don't like blank on my page. So I have to have some sort of background. So I just did black streaks to show I don't know, a road or car, or I don't know, but I like how it turns out. I had a lot in my mind these next couple of days. And so I basically just wrote everything that was in my brain to get it out and not have it stuck there just running around. And I used my Posca pen to write over it, penny for my thoughts. I just kept a running list on my notes app and put it all in here. So like something says, go past me for getting gas last night instead of waiting until this morning. And then it says, I love when quieter students who are also a little more anxious feel calm around me. Just like things that like are good and bad. Like I'm too busy. All these things. Like I have some anxiety going on. But I just needed to get it all out and it was great. Yeah, and I just liked how the Posca pen goes over it and like brightens it up. Some Wednesdays I go to this thing called Circle Up, which is just like a journaling circle near my house, which is really cool. It's just a bunch of people that get together and are like crafty, and I love it. It's been really fun meeting new people and just like people who understand either journaling or just like doing artistic things in general, just like all creatives coming together. So this night we did the blackout poetry, and I had never done it before and I freaking love it. So basically she just gave us like a page from this random book that has nothing to do with anything. And what you do is you pick out the like words that you want to turn into like a poem yourself. And so I just took, spoiler alert, Posca pen, and crossed out everything I didn't want and highlighted everything I did. And so I'll read you my poem now. I used to say I want. Well, I will have success. Yes, of course, I have purpose and hope, but that's not all. So it's like something really simple, but like it's like kind of inspiring because that is not at all what this story is about. So it's cool to see what people come up with. And like everyone came up with completely different poems, and that's just so cool to see how everyone's brain works. It's now baseball season. If you follow some other people, Shelby, Nicole, there's a couple others that are diehard baseball fans. I am probably not as diehard as them, but I do love me some baseball. I love putting it on in the background, either reading or journaling or just having it on and just watching it because it's kind of mindless, but like things do happen. So on opening day, we played the Nationals and we won. I used my gold Posca pen to showcase that, used red and blue for our Phillies colors, and said happy opening day. I'm pretty sure I found this font on Pinterest. If not, it also was just off the top of my head, but I like how it turned out with the different colors. Like hand solitaire, I'm also just trying to get back into cards in general. Chris really likes to play cards, so we play Rummy a lot of times on Friday nights. We'll have like our little impromptu date nights, and Rummy usually is at some point. It was a really close game. I am notoriously not good at Rummy, but I think just obviously playing it, you get better and better. But he won by 15 points. So it's nice because usually when I was bad, it's just like not that fun to play because he just wins really fast. But this was really good because it was a lot of back and forth. And like I mentioned, we have a lot of date nights on Fridays in that just they just like happen. So it says, I'll keep saying it, but I love our nights in. Chris made burgers and then we played cards and watched TV. And then I have a bunch of like packs of papers and stuff, and this was one of them. Chris loves sunflowers, so I used sunflower stickers and the pack I had to make it like a little background, and then some washi tape. And it's funny that this is so late, I didn't realize that, but we used to do like travel or like one big event type thing for our Christmas present to each other, like not getting actual gifts, but like going somewhere. Well, the past couple of years, we've either gotten sick or something's come up and we've just decided to not spend that money like that. But I was like, listen, I get that we don't want to buy each other Christmas gifts, whatever. Like, I don't really want that, but I do like the idea of doing something together or like getting things that we actually want. So I came up with the idea to go to Target, and what we did was we walked around the whole store, picked out 3 things that we would like to get. And it was up to, I don't remember what see, I don't remember what the limit was, but past KY put down $30. So we could pick up to, we could pick a couple things, but as long as it was up to $30, like we grouped the things that we wanted. So one of the things I wanted was like a neck scarf and earrings. I don't remember what the other one was. But then the other thing was crayons, because I don't have any crayons or pencil, colored pencils. Posca pens that were more neutral. So those were the silver, gold, white, and black. And then I wanted a marker caddy because I had no way to organize all of my markers. And that is what he got me. So obviously had to use the crayons, had to show off my Posca pen. That was great. And then I put all of the markers in the caddy and I love it so much. I use it all the time. And then there was 3 things he wanted. He said either a basketball because he wanted to shoot some hoops. He wanted a shirt and shorts, or he wanted something else. And so I got him the shirt and shorts and he wears them all the time and I love the outfit. And then we went to the trail by our house for a walk and it was a beautiful day out. So it was just a really nice day. It was a great date day. This is another one of my favorites. Chris made caprese eggplant, which is kind of how it sounds. You use eggplant instead of meat, and then fresh mozzarella, basil, balsamic vinegar, and then you like toss it in flour and egg. Tomato. Did I say tomato? Whatever. It is so freaking good. It is delicious and I loved every second of it. And instead of just putting, Chris made caprese eggplant, I decided to give doodling a try because I think eventually I want to make a recipe book for my mom. So mom, if you're watching this, ignore that. But yeah, so I wanted to see how it went doodling food. So I made all of this on vellum paper and then colored it and cut it out. So yeah, put here and then all of the ingredients, kind of just made them their own little frame. Love it. And then lastly, the last day of March was the first day, I think, of priority registration, which in a university is the first day, as it sounds, that you can register for classes for the future semester. It's the busiest week of the semester, I think, besides the first week of class. And it was just utter chaos. I had so many students that I saw. So I had to say no thoughts, just priority registration, because literally that was my day. And then I think Marissa gave me this idea to put the little hashes in the letters itself, which I love how that looks. And that was March in my Hobonichi Cousin. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, comment down below if you made it this far. Like this video and let me know what you want to see more of. Hope everyone has a great day, and wherever you are, have fun.